Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your boy Monkey Mike back again. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here in Arizona. I don't know if you can hear the birds chirping. They were pretty loud just a minute ago. I think they were sitting like right here in the tree. But then I opened it and started making a bunch of noise. Anyways, so first and foremost, I want to make sure you all remember we do have a giveaway happening. There's a whole bunch more than just this that's going into it. But I just wanted to remind you that, well, if you're here, like, subscribe, comment, whatever. But all you got to do is be sub to me here or follow me on Instagram, and you're in for the giveaway. So let's get into today's video. We have an awful lot of stuff happening here right now. And that's because I'm getting ready to start building the Miata engine, and I was gonna rush and try to get it done so I could get to IFO Vegas and take the car with me. It might be kind of cool. Maybe I would have been able to drift. I'm not quite sure what I would have been able to do or not do. Probably not be able to drift or run or anything, but I just kind of wanted to show everyone my car, like, hey, I built something. I'm not just a spectator guy. But we'll just take the SRT8. That'll still be pretty cool. So what we're going to be doing today is, I did go and buy a ring filer, so that's how this guy works. I just took the studs from the turbo that we ended up putting, we upgraded those bolts. I just put them on the underside. You can see there, nothing fancy, and then clamped it to this here. So, I mean, it don't move. And then, woo, we can definitely file some rings with that. We got our new rings right here. We've got both rod and crank bearings. We've got all the gaskets. This is the filer that I got, in case you're curious. Proform 66785. I'll put a link to that in the description. As well as all these parts that I got here. That way there's a list for anyone who wants to know. But today what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to balance the pistons and the wrist pins. And the easiest way to do that is, I got a scale that, well, I've had for a long time, and it was used for other more scrupulous things. But today we're going to use it to balance these pistons here. I'm pretty sure this one goes up high enough. I'm not quite sure. I have to check. Let's see. Dude, I can't believe I still have this. Like, I still have the directions for this. The original case it came in. Wow. It even says US Hooker Pro. Huh. All right then. So I'm going to check, make sure that this will go up to high enough. I think it will. We can just even check real quick. Does it work? Ah, weak. Oh, hey, look, there it goes. Dude, I've never changed the batteries on this thing. It's even got like a privacy deal, so when you're on this side, see, like, you can't see it. Oh, maybe you can. I don't know. Whoops. So, let's go and see what happens. It's definitely upside down, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so 85.8. See what happens. The piston even fit on there? No, it starts to hang off. Let's see. Oh no, I got it dirty. Good thing I don't use it for what I used to use it for. Let me find something to stick on there, like a little trade deal, and then we'll go from there. Give me just a minute. You guys, so apparently this is the tray. I totally forgot that that's how that works. So you can see here it's nice and zeroed out. Take this, I got the wrist pin sitting inside of it. 362.1. So I'll end up writing that down. We'll get a little sheet. I'll get a tally up, and what we're gonna end up doing, I need to strip the rest of these. Man, there you go. So that'll require just pulling this little pin. Okay, grab that. I mean, you could even use these here. Needle nose work great. You'll grab those, pull it out, tap the wrist pin out, which again comes out very, very easily. These are fairly, just slidey. Just edit that out, dude. And then once everything's naked and off, I'll probably, write which piston is which on here, but I may not, simply because the easiest way to balance these without having to shave stuff off is, you'd be surprised how much the wrist pins actually vary in weight, and then we can kind of match them back and forth and get the closest ratio without having to take anything off. And then I'll show you guys, if we do need to take anything off, I'll show you how it's done. So give me just a minute and I'll get that done. Just real quick, I just want to show you guys how easy it is to use this piston ring removal tool and to get the wrist pin out. First, we're going to make it easy on ourselves. We're just going to pull the wrist pin out. So I like to use these ones right here. Grab this little clip. Just going to twist it out and pull. Ooh. Okay, try again, twist and pull. There it came out. And again, you can just see right here, very simple. Just grab it, twist, and pull. Okay, so now this part actually is extremely easy. I like to take my extensions like this here. You'll see it's the exact diameter, almost like perfect diameter of the wrist pin. Hold it nice and firm. There it is. That's just a 2-pound dead blow I got off Amazon. Again, all the tools, I'll put a link in the description. I had to buy a bunch of new stuff because, well, my last partner let the shop burn down and I lost a lot of equipment. So, a lot of this stuff I'm just buying the same things over and over again. It happens. Alright, always clean your stuff up once it comes out. You see it's got oil all over it. It's not bad, but you just want to make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, we'll set this off to the side right here. So next with the rings, you can see this tool is kind of grooved in there. It's real simple. We'll take the top ring off first. Let's see, there it is. So I push on the back side here, insert the tool in there, pry it apart, and you just want to gently, because I've already accidentally snapped a ring. That's why I had to get new rings. There it is. Ring number 2. A little bit more difficult, but same general process. And there it is. And you'll see I was using my fingers and kind of pushing on the backside there. As far as getting the oiler rings off, this is actually really simple. Just figure out where it splits. I like to take the bottom off first. Doesn't matter. It's just how I like to do it. It comes off very simply like that. Then you can take the actual oiler ring itself off. Usually, it's real simple to find. This one's actually the hardest so far I've ever done. There you go. Split that out. I guess the top's coming out first. And then this one here, you can see it's just very, very simple. And then all your rings are off. All right, so now I'm gonna weigh all the individual pieces. First, I'm gonna start with the wrist pins. Let's go ahead and get this sucker on. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll do, well, I'm gonna know which one's which because the numbers are obviously gonna show pretty dramatic difference here. So we'll just do wrist pin number 1, 85.8. All right, so that's interesting. We'll find out that these two are 0.1 lighter. All right, then. Go ahead and weigh the piston itself. Got 277.2, 277.1. Oh, holy crap. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. Make sure that we're not hitting nothing. Yeah, it's 2 grams difference almost. That one's 275.3. We'll go 276.5. Well, after I spent some time getting everything cleaned up, we lost 0.3 of a gram here, 0.2 grams here, 0.1 grams there, and 0.2 there. So everything got significantly lighter. We're all down into the 76s, except for we're still in the 275. We went down, 0.2. So I'm gonna match everything to 275.2, which is nice because we'll have a slightly lighter rotating assembly. Not that it's gonna matter a whole lot with, just being a gram like that. But to me, it really does matter. I mean, that's what, 1.5 grams, a little bit more than that. So yeah, I definitely want to get that taken care of. And then we'll have a fairly balanced rotating assembly for the most part. So let me get set up to lighten these, and I'll show you what my process is to get them all the same. All right, so you can see everything is all nice, done up and clean. We've got some more numbers to look at here. Everything should be at least 360.9, 361.1. I think that'll be the biggest deviation. So we're basically, I'm thinking is the lightest piston is probably going to be 361. And then the other ones are going to be at least a tenth up or down. So let's go ahead and give it a check here. Nice and zeroed out. Again, we have our wrist pin inside because that's how I'm doing it, is the piston and the wrist pin together. I'm not going to balance them individually. 361. It's like 361.1. 361.1, 361.1. Do this one again, put it in a different spot. Yep, 361. So almost everything is completely balanced. I want to show you how I did that. A lot of it was burring out the inside of this. And you can see I gave it a little bit of a chamfer only on the edge here. The inside I left it completely, so make sure you guys can actually see that. So that's, you know, I did a little bit on the inside here, on the bottom of the crown there. Very little though. I did some a bit more than others. You can see this one here kind of got in there a little bit. Also went in on the sides just a tiny bit. And when I did that, I used this little sander deal. I didn't use the hardcore bit here, which is what I used on the wrist pins. And then you see this one here, I as well did. But I didn't do anything on the crown on this one here. So they're all balanced up. We're good to go. We know everything is 361.1, or if not, it's damn close. And that's gonna do it as far as balancing the pistons. Let's go ahead and move on to the next fun part. It is gonna be taking these piston rings. We're gonna take the new feeler gauges here. We'll turn this over, do some more math, and then we'll start grinding the rings down. All right, so next is going to be doing the piston rings. We're going to do this all in one video. So you just go ahead and push it in like that, okay? And then turn it down. Take your piston. In this case, we're doing number 3. This is cylinder 3. We're going to push it in just past the crown, which is the top there where the rings seat in, and into the skirt. The reason why is because that's going to help square it all up. The skirt of it is actually almost the exact bore diameter. As you can see, it's very, very little movement there, okay? Whereas the crown is 0.5 millimeter smaller. That's to account for expansion and heat and whatnot. So now that we got it like that, we're gonna find wherever our 12, because I'm assuming this is gonna be a 12. There it is. You can see there, 0.12. There we go. And, yep. There it is. Maybe you can see. Yeah, no. One time I don't have lights on. There we go. That'll help us see a little bit better. So we take our 0.12, 12 thousandths. Goes in there perfect. We can try our 13. 13 does not go in easily. It would have to be forced. So that's not a 13. That'll be a 12. Again, you can see 13 almost goes in. Like I can force it in there, but you can see it scratched that tip. Maybe. I see a little color on the tip there. So I would say that's a 12, maybe even, you know, 0.125 or 0.125, I guess. So 125,000 or no, millions? Yeah. Not really something that matters there. So what we would do is we'll go ahead and pull this out, take it to our ring filer here, and you always want to go backwards. You always want to go this direction to the inside of the ring. That way any burrs that may occur are not facing forward. So we would rotate this way, okay? When you hold it in, obviously this does take 2 hands, but you can just push on those little dowels. You can see, okay? So what you'll do is just kind of hold it down and push in gently. It's not something you're going to want to do very fast, so it shouldn't have a whole lot of force. It will try to make it come up, but just put a firm little grasp on there and it should do just fine. I'm going to do some math. I'll put some equations right here. And when we come back, I will show you guys what the top ring and bottom ring are supposed to be gapped at. We'll practice on a couple that we have, and then we'll just go ahead and pop open the new ones, grind them out, get them on, and then we can start on bearings, which will be for our next video, but I want to get the pistons all out of the way. So give me just a moment. I'll get some math done. We'll be right back. All right, so we have our math equation. This is for a nitrous or turbo application. This is going to be the top ring. This is going to be the bottom, or second ring rather. We have our bore in inches as 3.07 inches. That's going to be the Miata 1.6 bore. Converted from millimeter to inches. I believe it's 78 millimeter. And what we're going to do is we take the 0.006 times 3.07, and we get this figure here, which is 0.01842. We can go ahead and just round that to 18, but I'm not sure. I might take that to 19. I'm deliberating that in my head currently, and as well as this one here with the 17.499. So we would just round that one to 5, which would then make us want to round that to 18. I'm not going to do both of them at 18. We need to have the second ring be slightly smaller, because what's happening is this top ring here is going to allow a little bit to get by compression wise, and the second ring is basically comprised to hold any compression that the top ring may lose. That way we don't lose compression in the cylinder, and being that we're boosting it, we obviously don't want it to blow by the rings. So with this in mind, I'll likely take this one to 19 and this one to 18, because this, if we were to round it down, this one would be 18, that would be 17. And in case I do want to push a little bit more boost and maybe add some nitrous or something fun, I'm trying to think a little bit further ahead. I'm not really concerned if we lose a small amount of compression from gapping those higher rather than lower, because we can always just add some more boost. Currently I'm only at 8 psi, and I don't really see a need to go anywhere past that at the moment. We also have to make sure, because we're not using any fancy race bearings or anything, I don't want to push too much on the bottom end. And I mean, this is a temporary build. There's going to be a V8 that goes in place of this, so it's not like that matters a whole lot. But at the same time, I don't like going through all this effort just to pop it and blow it up. So on the safe side, I'm going to go higher rather than lower. That way, if it does get hot, and I do live in Arizona, so being that the engine will see some warmer air during summer, late summer, heck, even fall. My fall temperatures here, autumn, is almost what some people's summer temperatures are. So with that in mind, I am gonna gap this one up to 19, and I will likely gap this one at 18 versus doing 17 and 18. Typically, and just because this, again, that's going to be 17.5, and we round up with the 5, and I'm not going to do 17.5. I don't have feeler gauges that let me go all the way to the millionth there. So you got 10, 100, 1,000, million. So we're just gonna we're gonna pretend that guy there don't work. That one there would round that to a 4 anyway. This one here would round up to a 5, and then that would, we cross that out, and that would round up to an 18. And this one here, the 4, rather than rounding it down to the 18 so they match, we do need to have the top ring be a little bit bigger, so we'll call this one 19. So we're going to do 19 and 18. And that's about the same as what it would be if it was a supercharged application, because these numbers do increase just slightly. This one would be 7, and I believe this one would actually be just 6. It may be 6, 7. I'd have to look again to make sure, but I know because superchargers do create a little bit more heat, and that's basically what we're trying to deal with here, is mitigating the heat that comes from the compressed air. So that's what we're doing there. And something I do also want to tell you guys about before I take you over to the block and talk a little bit about the rings themselves. This one side over here is the only side that you use for grinding. You don't want to use this side over here. You can see it's kind of checkered and weird looking whatnot. You only want to grind one side. And there's a very important reason for that. I'm going to take you over to the block and let's talk a little bit about grinding the rings. So something I've learned about grinding the rings is you can see everything is squared up. Okay, that ring has been ground. This ring has not. This one let me see what I got it to. Again, I haven't used that type of ring grinder until today, or filer rather. What are we at? I think that's the 18. And as you can see, 18 does go in there. It's a little tight, but it goes in. Whoops. I would consider that the 17.5 that we spoke about. So I guess if I wanted to try to do a half, I could kind of guess, because see, 17 goes in no problem. Absolutely no problem. But we take the 18, and it's, it goes in, but it's a little tight. I would call that 18. It'd be like 17.5, 18. Whereas this one here, the one that hasn't been touched, you see nothing, it doesn't go at all. We're back down to, I think, 12 or 13 on the stock ring. Yeah, see, there's 12. And then we would go 13, so yeah, it's 12. So just a little bit of grinding, go nice and slow. You want to make sure there's no champers. You want to make sure, we'll pull this one out here, that when you're grinding them, you see how they match up. There's no extra angles. There's no burrs or anything like that. See, there we go. Yeah, there's no burrs, anything of that nature. You want to be careful if you do have moly coated rings. You can actually see here, you see on the top right there, let me get that back down. You can actually see where this thing got too hot though. You can see where it burnt a bit. This was definitely the top ring, and it definitely saw a little bit of heat from that turbo. So that's what we're trying to alleviate, is those heat marks right there. If this butts together while it's in the cylinder, that's how you lose a ring land. That's how this thing pops, and it's bad news bears for sure. So with that 12 gap, you can see we move it up here, and this is just a little trick, okay? Put it on just on the top right there. Don't push it in anymore. And as it's going in, see, I've just pushed it down again slightly. Sit it right there. And then there it is, like a glove. And you can physically see it. And again, you want to make sure that one's squared up. Yeah, it is. It just doesn't look like it. But anyway, you can actually see it with the naked eye. This one has definitely got more gap to it, and that one's tiny. So it's just that over and over and over. I do suggest doing all your top rings first, and you do need to bore match them just in case any of the bores do slightly differ in size. And once you do that, shove them back on there, not shove them back on you, I mean gently, nicely put them on your piston heads, and then you're ready for the next step. So that's where I'm gonna head to next, and I guess we'll be back. Well, actually not really. I'm just gonna can the video right here. Thanks for watching, guys. This is a very simple explanation. If you need more information about how to do this, feel free to drop a question in the comments or anything of that nature, and I'll do my best to help you out. This is just kind of a rough garage version of how you do your pistons, weighing them, getting them all tuned down without destroying anything too badly, and then grinding your rings. So once piston heads are done, we'll get them on the rods, and then we'll head to bearings. Thanks for being here. Peace.